93.7 The Ticket, and statewide on the Supernovas Radio Network. At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
Hi, folks. Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and the Chevrolet and GMC Truck Month is now underway. We've got huge savings in Louisville. Get $9,000 off or 1.9% for 72 months on select models. Yes, you heard right. That's $9,000 off or 1.9% for 72 months happening right now at Koppel. So take that short money-saving drive down 144th Street or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with roof credit. Stock number G214773.
Acres is bringing you the nation's largest indoor display of John Deere equipment and technology. Acres 2024 Ag and Turf Expo showcases everything from tillage and planting to application and harvest. We'll also offer the latest industry insights from ag professionals across the state. Join us in Grand Island at Fauner Park March 21st and 22nd. Go to acres.com/expo24 for a complete schedule of speakers and activities.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Houses? They're expensive. And once you buy one, you're kind of stuck with it for a while. You need to make sure you get your best house for the best price. You need Ben Bleicher and his team of pros at Professional Realty Group. They'll take the time to figure out what's important for you in your dream home, and they have the expertise to find the hidden issues that could surprise you after the sale. That's professional knowledge, proactive service. We call that potential. Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's home service ambassador. Find more online at prg-ne.com.
Life is all about balance, so how about a little sweet and a little heat to make your week? At Wings and Rings, we're introducing our all-new Hot Honey menu for the month of March. Try our one-of-a-kind house-made sauce on the brand-new Hot Honey chicken sandwich or our Hot Honey shrimp and slaw. And of course, you can get it on the traditional boneless or smoked wings that have made Wings and Rings your go-to neighborhood spot. But don't wait, Hot Honey is only here until April 1st. So stop by Wings and Rings at one of our 2 Lincoln locations today, on O Street and on Village Lane.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Erick Strickland. Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Presented by NIPCO. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Welcome into the show on a beautiful Thursday. Not a thirsty Thursday. Kevin Meyer is out of town, but that's all right. We will tread on. I'm Austin Norman, joined by the Husker Hall of Famer, the 9-year NBA veteran, Erick Strickland. Stricky, baby, what's good?
It's good, but it's also bad. It's bad for a lot of ways here at Nebraska. And we're going to get right into it because we've got a special guest joining us here on the block today.
We absolutely do. We go to our Allo VIP line, Allo Fiber, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. We welcome in sports editor, columnist for the Omaha World Herald, Sam McEwen. Sam, I mean this with the utmost respect. You're a grizzled vet. You've seen some stuff on your time covering not just Nebraska football, but Nebraska athletics. Grading against the Nebraska-specific curve, where do yesterday's events rank on the unexpected development scale in Husker athletics?
A 10, for sure. I think it ranks really high. I think probably if you had told me he's going to follow Ted Carter to Ohio State, that would have been more in line with what I thought was possible. For sure, I'm surprised that it's A&M, and it's 3 or 4 months after they signed he signed an extension. He's going to owe Nebraska a lot of money, but A&M is. So it's a 10. I mean, it's very surprising. It's the kind of thing you don't anticipate or expect happening. And it's something that the fallout is going to be considerable. There'll be fallout from it because it happened so quickly and it was so unexpected. It immediately leads to people to believe, like, okay, what the heck is going on over there that this guy would leave? I think Nebraska will receive more scrutiny than Trev will.
Sam, Erick Strickland here, man. Listen,
Hey.
Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you as always. One of the things is it's like walking into a room with no lights on. That's what it feels like here at the University of Nebraska, I'm sure right now. How would you view it as far as the discussions maybe that he had or didn't have with his staff? How does it leave those who are came to work with him or have been working with him, how they feel about him? If you just look at this, not just from the AD perspective, from any perspective, a CEO leaving a company, those discussions, a coach, not really being able to talk to the players that you've asked them to run through walls for you on, and then leaving just seeds out there that haven't even germinated yet. What are some of the words that you're hearing maybe from the surrounding areas, or just thoughts on that?
Shocked. Yep, that's a word that I've heard.
Yeah.
I think there was probably a plan to do this better than it's been done. And for whatever reason, yesterday, people reached out to A&M reporters, right? Sources in the industry, in the sports industry, the college sports industry, reached out to A&M. And I don't know if it was to, finish it, or if it was to celebrate, or if it was to, oh my goodness, look what's happened. But something changed, right? So I don't think the plan was to announce this Wednesday night. I think there was probably an understanding in place. I feel like I know Trev well enough to know he didn't want to steal the men's team's thunder in Minneapolis the way that it's been. So I could have definitely seen this happen Monday of next week. It breaks on Monday. That way you got the selection and things go that way. And he may have had more time to make those conversations, but the way that the news broke, he had no time. There was no opportunity. And I don't know, maybe A&M is like, listen, we're moving on if you don't say yes. So we need a yes now. I don't know what would have been wrong with a yes on March 28th. But for whatever reason, the ball got moved forward very quickly. And I think he was taking several hours to decide, because I don't know that he had made up his mind in one way or another, but somehow it got, back channeled to A&M. And here we are. It's one of those moments. I certainly think, there were meetings scheduled this week that people expected to have, and then they got canceled. I think there was, surprise there. I think obviously some of the coaches were taken completely off guard. They were out of town. They were on vacation. So, we'll just have to see, how it all plays out. But yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of frustration in the room when it all went down. And, then people get the email. And so everybody's kind of waiting around for several hours yesterday. I even heard maybe around 3:30, well, maybe he'll stay, and then obviously he made the decision to go, and people move forward.
Yeah. And Sam, just this is just a hypothetical, because the emotions of it, we as people deal with this so much just in life in general. Right. But just I want to throw this to you and just get a personal feeling on it, because just say, for example, at the Omaha World Herald, your top president, your leading editor, your senior editor, both of them decide that, okay, one's not coming back. So then, your CEO or your president or whatever it is there at the radio station, you're that's just open. It's 8 months. That's just open. And then you're dealing with other entities that you're not used to dealing with. And then all of a sudden that person just bounces. How would that affect you guys like at a World Herald?
I think it would be very affecting for sure. To be without, in this case, a publisher and also a main editor. I think that would be difficult if that hypothetical were to happen at any news organization. It hasn't really happened quite like that at the World Herald, but those things happen. And at Nebraska, yeah, I mean, I'm sure Matt Rule has questions today.
Yeah.
I don't know what questions Fred Hoiberg has or doesn't have. I mean, I think, Fred doesn't have to have those kind of questions. I think he's coaching a basketball team at a university that hasn't, and this well, hasn't always valued basketball as much as it should.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, he has the AD he has, but I think he can keep plugging along for as long as he wants to in that role, provided they keep winning. But certainly Matt Rule's got questions today. Athletic department's got questions today. They had, a number of long-time athletic department staff members had either retired or left or let go in the last 2.5 years. And so the institutional knowledge of the place probably isn't as high as it was. The institutional knowledge of the place was locked up in Trev, and now Trev's gone. So there's going to be some things over there where we're like, okay, academics is going to be strong. I mean, Dennis is taking care of that, but there's going to be areas over there that are like, well, hey, new leadership again. We've done this many times. Now we got to figure out who's going to be the person in that office. I'm sure there's a lot of frustration that's just begun to set in.
There's a lot in that answer I want to unpack from Sam McEwen of the Omaha World Herald here. Sam, let's start with this. You say this happens from time to time. Like, it doesn't happen. The shock of it that you're mentioning, an alumni leaving, his alma mater, but at the same time, it does happen. ADs change over all the time. Would the shock of what happened yesterday and how it went down be the same at any university across the country? Or is it different because it's a Nebraska alum leaving Nebraska?
I think it's different. Yeah, the second one there. I do think that, Trev was so interconnected in the university system. It wasn't just the 3 years here at Nebraska, but it was the 12 years at UNO. And so he knows so many people, and was able to keep this quiet for a week, and then it breaks. Yeah, I think it is different because I never thought he was going to be a 30-year AD. I didn't. I think he burns pretty hot. He's a pretty intense guy. I think at UNO he had sort of bided his time, and there's only so much you could do at UNO. But I also felt like when he took the Nebraska job, he was sort of consciously moving into, okay, I'm going to move into this next stage of my career where I'm really going to press into football, which he didn't have at UNO because he got rid of it. And there, that was going to be, kind of a high octane thing. So I kind of thought that was the case. I thought he'd have to eventually move on from here because it was an intense place and he's an intense guy. I didn't think it'd be now. If you told me, in 2027 he was leaving, that would make more sense to me. Like if he had, and he'd be like, well, Matt Rule just won 10 games and the stadium project is complete. My work is done here. I've done the thing that I came here to do, which was modernize the stadium and put a coach in place that can get this program back where it wants. It's not my heart's desire to do this for 20 years. I'm going to go and find another role. That would have made sense to me. To do it now, I think points to there's obviously some irreconcilable differences, or in his mind, irreconcilable visions, where he just wasn't going to be able to get done the thing that he wanted to get done. I feel like if the Memorial Stadium project was already fully funded and rocking and rolling, he might have wanted to see that through. I wonder if there was, I'm just not sure this will get done the way I envision it. And so in leaving, he's not really leaving the project to someone else. It's almost like it's going to have to be reimagined. That's what we don't know.
There's so much that we don't know. We don't know the why and so many of those decisions behind the scenes. And some of it we might find out, some of it we might not. But Sam, another narrative I'm sure you've seen from fans, is people are asking why we're just hearing about these potential issues with vision and above the athletic director. And I don't think that's necessarily fair to say. I feel like these issues have been out there in some form or fashion. And we just saw, a big symptom with the dramatic development of yesterday.
Like there's been stuff out there for sure. I mean, when Ted Carter left, that was part of it. But yeah, I mean, there's from the very beginning, Trev has always been a guy that's been real honest with, how things needed to change in Nebraska. So he was a change agent. Like he wasn't coming here to just kind of hang back and enjoy, the fact that he finally got to Nebraska. To be honest with you, Bill Moose was doing a lot of that. Bill Moose kind of treated the role like it was an emeritus job, and he didn't exactly do a ton when he got here. No, Trev was coming here to transform Nebraska athletics, and in the conversations I had with him over the years, and there were many, he reveled a little bit in the like we're gonna change this place, and people are not necessarily ready for everything that we're doing. And he kind of liked that. And I think there does come a point though, where if you feel like the momentum that you desire just doesn't have the same kind of, speed to it, maybe you get frustrated. And then the other thing is that I would think about is that it's just possible that he just knows so much and knows so many people here that it almost becomes a little overwhelming to like try to have all the answers for a place and not necessarily have the resources for the answers that you've given. Going to Texas A&M, it's just a job. It's a good job, but it's just a job. Like you're going there to do a job. It's not a calling the way that Nebraska is. And sometimes, a job is what you need in your life, as opposed to a place where all the eyes look to you. Trev Alberts will not have to be the person who solves whatever issues Texas A&M has. Whereas at Nebraska, he had put himself in that position to be the guy that everybody looked to.
We're talking with Sam McEwen of the Omaha World Herald here on our VIP line, brought to you by Aloe Fiber, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. Sam, you mentioned the word transformation and change agent relating to Trev Alberts. And to some degree, now the focus shifts to the future, since he did, take the Texas A&M job. At Nebraska, is it easier to be a change agent if you're familiar, you have that institutional knowledge, and you know how to relate to the power dynamics in place? Or is it about time for an outside voice who can build some of that relationship, but brings fresh ideas and a new perspective to take some of these leadership roles?
Yeah, I think an outside voice is fine. In a weird way, Trev Alberts was an outside voice. I mean, he didn't spend a lot of time around the program while he was at UNO, and he had outside thoughts. Like he just had outsider perspective, and he said hard things. I think that an ideal candidate coming in here would be somebody who can turn the temperature down a little bit, and somebody who how's the right put? Just does the job. Like isn't necessarily always trying to look around the corner and trying to position, Nebraska for. I think Trev was genuinely concerned at times, that Nebraska was somehow going to be on the wrong side of some of this stuff with the Big Ten and AAU and all these things. Like I think he was, and they need an athletic director who comes in and is like, let's just run the best athletic department we can. Let's try to do the things that we can. And you know what? Other people need to step up to the plate and have vision too. And sometimes I thought, and I say this with respect, like in so many circumstances, Albert's the smartest guy in the room. And I think sometimes it could just be like his vision and the way that he looked at things was just consuming. And maybe you need a person in there that's got a little bit smaller vision that's like, listen, I need to allow for the people who haven't necessarily stepped up to feel the gap of their not stepping up. And I think Trev was covering a lot of gaps. And now that he's gone, some of the people who maybe hadn't stepped up as much as they could have will have to do that. And I think an AD coming in can be the person that's like, I'm going to do this job really well and do it to the best of my ability and build relationships with people and maybe not worry so much about what had happened before or, grievances or frustrations or whatever, and just go forward from here. Because I think Trev Alberts leaves the place better than he found it.
That's the thing that I think we'll keep diving into is weighting what Trev Alberts did in his time at Nebraska versus the manner of his exit. But Sam, I'm going to touch on your column here briefly. The title, as Trev Alberts leaves, Nebraska's hopes shift to Matt Rule, who holds all the cards. What do you mean by that?
Well, when people talk about alignment, I totally understand this idea about you want a president and a chancellor and an AD and a coach who are on the same page. Well, the reality is that the people, the only one left behind right now is Rule, and there's just really no reason not to give him what he wants. Mm-hmm. And so, on some level, how do I put this? Matt Rule is probably somebody you can align behind, if that makes sense. There are other coaches that you could have that are like, listen, I don't know how to exactly articulate what I want, and I don't really have necessarily a process that's super defined to get where I need to go, because I need to be mentored into being, sort of a fully grown head coach. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so that person needs more alignment, because what they need somebody to put their arm around them and say, hey, here's how you do this, or let's navigate this thing that you screwed up. I don't know that Matt Rule needs that as much. So the issues that, if somebody were to ask me, what is the largest issue facing Nebraska football? I'm not sure I'm going to look that far beyond. They got to play better quarterback. I mean, they got to get better quarterback play. Whereas 5 years ago, it would have been the culture's not right. The funding isn't quite there. The facilities aren't quite what they need to be. The coaches the AD can't go down to the coaches floor in North Stadium. I don't think all of those things are true anymore. And so, some of the problems, some of the things that you need alignment for are resolved by a person who just kind of handles their own stuff. And I think that's Rule. Mm-hmm. So, I don't think it's going to be hard to give him what he wants. And Eric probably understands this. At times it was hard to understand, to accommodate Bo Pelini. Sometimes it was hard to understand what he wanted. Sometimes he was just not happy, and you weren't quite sure why. Maybe he really wasn't. He didn't do anything wrong, or Nebraska didn't do anything wrong. He was just discontent. And so they needed somebody in there that doesn't maybe necessarily require that level of alignment. And I think Rule can just handle some things that a couple of his predecessors didn't do very well.
And I think we've seen that through even just a year and change of the Matt Rule tenure. And I think the way I interpret what you're saying, what you're reading, please correct me if I'm wrong, is that it's not like a player picking a coach. It's not Kevin Durant and James Harden coming together, say, Steve Nash is our guy. But I think the vision is, hey, Matt Rule is someone that our other head coaches can unite behind. You give some deference to a John Cook, a Mark Manning, but really it's Rule that's the forefront of that athletic department as a young head coach who has potential to be there for a long time. His input is valuable. With football as our moneymaker, it's not placating Matt Rule, but we have to make sure that he believes in us and our vision so we don't lose that fourth pillar of what we thought we had.
That's right. That's right, for sure. And to be clear, Matt Rule is a big fan of Trev and a big fan of Ted Carter. And so he likes, he liked that group of leaders for sure. But I think he knows that this business changes all the time, and things don't typically last. To be honest with you, Matt Rule hasn't spent more than about 4 years at a school, so things change all the time. That's just how college sports is now, and I think he'll be okay. I think he should have a large say in who the predecessor is, because I think, or who Trev's successor is, because I think Matt Rule has good people skills. Like he's a person that is like, he's a person whose advice you would ask about something like that. Like he's, there's other people that might be at Nebraska who are like, well, the coach, the AD I want to pick is the one who's going to leave me alone. And that's really not the ideal AD for anyone. Like if you want a boss who's a good boss, you need to have somebody who just challenges you at times. And so I think Rule understands that. And I think he'll make his pick, he'll give his preference accordingly. And I just think they're in a much better position with the coach than they were 3 years ago, than they were when Mike Riley was there. And I love Mike, but I mean, he was sort of the forgetful professor, like, hey, everybody, how's it going? Well, people are going behind your back and making all kinds of moves. So that's how it's going. Matt Rule's way more attuned to those things. And I think they're just in a better position than they have been at the coaching spot.
Plenty more questions I could ask you, Sam. I'm sure we'll get some answers here in the near future from you and your staff at omaha.com. Follow Sam on Twitter. Sam, really appreciate you making some time for us. Best of luck following all of this. I know we'll be tuned in. Thanks for the time.
Take care.
Sam McEwen with us on our VIP line, brought to you by Aloe Fiber, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local hearts. Tricky, before we hit break, what Sam's saying about Matt Rule makes sense to me. Do you see that from Matt Rule after a year or so?
Yeah, no doubt. Again, Matt Rule has been tasked with an assignment. The assignment has already been laid, and I think that he's already, moving the program into that trajectory. What that would mean, I think, it's not going to be an issue of money with Matt. I mean, Matt's 35 deep with Panther money, so it's not necessarily that. I think what's going to be important for Matt Rule is going to be the discussions that he's going to have with whoever they decide is going to be the next AD. If you listen to Pillen, Governor Pillen, he states that it's a hiccup. It's definitely something that the university dropped the ball on, and they should have been a little bit more proactive in attaining a new president. It's been 8 months, so. Now you're missing multiple people in the program at the highest levels of leadership, and with no view in sight, because you've got processes to go through in order to acquire. I mean, they're not just going to snap hire somebody. So you've got time that's going to be late, and with spring coming and all these things that are looming, and you've got 2 basketball programs that are probably on their way to NCAA tournament action. And I think they're going to continue to press on. There's other outside matters that may be going on that we don't know about. But at the end of the day, it's just, Matt Rule, I think, is tasked with the assignment, is going to continue to press towards the assignment. And then those discussions will then begin to maybe give an idea as to what the next move would be for him.
Text line, comment section. We know you still have thoughts. We know that maybe your thoughts have changed since this news broke yesterday morning, since the announcement was made official yesterday about 5 o'clock. Give us your thoughts on the comment section, and on YouTube. We have Mike and Dion chiming in. We've got a handful of texts that we'll get to at some point throughout the show. But next segment, I'm relying on Husker Hall of Famer Erick Strickland, who knows what it means to leave a legacy at Nebraska. Did Trev Alberts destroy his legacy at Nebraska? I want Strick's take on that. That's what we're discussing next.
Hey guys, it's Bill Bush. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty has opened a new location in Pender, Nebraska, in addition to their office in Lincoln. The real estate world can be confusing, so why wouldn't you want an expert helping you every step of the way? If you're looking to buy or sell farmland in Nebraska, Kansas, or Iowa, give Ethan Sorensen a call today at 402-380-0432 or visit them online at nextagrealestate.com. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty with locations in Lincoln and now Pender, Nebraska.
Spring is here. It's time to get back outside and into proper shoes this year. Brown Shoe Fit is the place to buy this spring with their sale on athletic shoes. Get $15 off any regular price athletic shoes with respected brands like Hoka, Brooks, New Balance, and On Running. And don't forget, Browns carries a large arrangement of sizes and widths to fit your feet properly. Start your spring off right at Brown Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.
Hi, folks. Sean Callahan here for Copple Chevrolet GMC, and the Chevrolet and GMC Truck Month is now underway. We've got huge savings in Louisville. Get $9,000 off or 1.9% for 72 months on select models. Yes, you heard right. That's $9,000 off or 1.9% for 72 months happening right now at Copple. So take that short money saving drive down 144th Street or check us out online at copplecars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with roof credit. Stock number G214773.
Join us on Saturday, March 16th for Taylor Swift Night at the Icebox. We'll be jamming to the best hits from Travis Kelce's Girlfriend all night, and you can be part of the fun too. The first 500 fans in attendance will receive a friendship bracelet, while the first 200 fans will get a Stars Taylor Swift themed poster. Are you ready for it? Get your tickets now at LincolnStars.com.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call
John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
Here in the heart of the Midwest, the call of the wild meets the passion for conservation. At Nebraska Game and Parks, we're not just preserving nature, we are shaping its future. Work in our state parks or as a biologist, accountant, conservation officer, or a variety of other roles. And come work where you love to play. You can make a difference for Nebraskans and for our state's wildlife and wild places. Apply today at outdoornebraska.gov.
Paid for by Nebraska Game and Park. Aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Are you in the market for a new garage door or need to repair your old one? It's wintertime, and that means snow, wind, and freezing temperatures. All things that can cause sticky locks and damage to your garage door. If you're experiencing any issues with your commercial or residential garage door during the winter months, call Cameron Hall and his team at Doors Plus. Don't be trapped outside in the cold because of a poorly maintained garage door. Call Doors Plus today at 402-590-5800 or visit them online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Lots to get to still on this Thursday show regarding the departure of Athletic Director Trev Alberts from the University of Nebraska, headed down to Texas A&M. I'm Austin Norman, joined by Husker Hall of Famer Erick Strickland. Strick, I think there's not many people, if anyone, better in this building to ask this question to. You're a Husker. You have a legacy at Nebraska, whether you like it or not. I know you're humble. You have that, confident streak, though, but you have a legacy. However you view your legacy, you have it. Other people think of you at Nebraska. Trev Alberts, same fraternity, different chapter. You're basketball, he's football. The reaction from fans has been incredibly emotional, visceral, just deeply hurt for the most part. A lot of questions, a lot of asking why. And we get this text. I think it's a perfect example. 1705 on the text line says, when you do us like Trev did us, you shouldn't have your name on the stadium. His number's retired. His name is up there. Fans want it chiseled out of the stadium. Did Trev Alberts destroy his Nebraska legacy with how this went down?
Okay, so one thing that I would always like to say, and I'm not going to say a specific artist, that I'm not going to do that part, but I'm going to say there's a difference between what you did on the field and what you do off the field. There are some individuals that have artistry. We all have life. I think sometimes what happens is, whether it be a pastor, a minister, a CEO, they're held in such high regard and put under such microscopes. Yes, there's large responsibilities. As you know, if you're biblically inclined, there's things that say, with the responsibility, with the positioning, and with that comes a heavy level of responsibility.
Mm-hmm. To those who much is given to, much is required,
right.
Much is expected.
Okay,
mm-hmm.
So you have that part of it, and that's understandable, but at the same time, they're still people. And the thing is we only get a small piece of what that goes on into the psyche, the mindset of said individual. If you have Taylor Swift, you only really get to see her in entertainment. You don't get to see her behind the scenes. You don't get to see her, how she lives and what she does, unless paparazzi happens to catch a snippet of it in her backyard. Okay, you know what I mean? But outside of that, you don't get to really know the person, the individual, what they're thinking, what they're dealing with, what they're battling, what they're fighting, what stresses, what issues that they're going through. And so this is where we have to, be stuck, because that person that is a singer, that is an artist, that is an actor, that is whatever, you see them on the screen. That's the port that you really get to identify with. You see Tom Cruise or you see Denzel Washington, you see them on the screen. You don't really get to see them, into them. You see when they give their speeches, but you don't really get to see into them. And this is where we're at with Trev. What Trev did on the field should not be taken out of the, the airs of history. He did what he did on the field, what he does in his work, what he did on his outside. Some people have committed crimes because they make mistakes just like anybody else. They have to pay for those, but that doesn't mean that their music or their songs or their legacy should be, wiped clean because of what transpired outside of the realm of what they did. That's where I stand. I don't think that should be the case.
To me, there are two conclusions to be drawn here. Either he is a turncoat, greasy, slimy traitor who's in it for the money, who's selfish, and who lied, or he's a canary in a coal mine. 1380 on the text line said, if this departure is what it takes for the state to realize the mismanagement, then I'm okay with this. The response that he should be wiped from the stadium is immature. I think when the situation plays out regarding everything else going on at the administrative level and emotions die down, he'll be looked upon more sympathetically. I think that's a good point, and that's why I have been trying to be cautious about this, telling Husker fans not to jump to conclusions. I get it. It's emotional.
We're very rash in today's society, Austin. You're right.
And Husker fans, straight.
Yeah,
you know better than anyone, the passion of Nebraska fans, how much they care, how invested they get. But to your point, you don't know everything going on.
Yeah.
And until you know everything going on, which you might not, have your emotional reaction. Feel it in your heart, burn, be upset. But to say some of the things you're saying, if Trev Alberts comes out in the next 5 years and says, hey, this is why I left, this is what's going on behind the scenes, even if he doesn't give everything just enough, it's, oh man, I didn't know, I'm sorry.
And that happens a lot.
You can't take those words back. Toothpaste out of the tube.
That happens a lot.
I am more than willing to grant the possibility that Trev Alberts is selfish. He did things for himself, for his own dime. But I also don't want to discount the fact that even just a day later, we're starting to have more and more questions about what was going on above him, behind the scenes, that we as fans can't see. So I don't want Husker Nation to have a black eye nationally, all this egg on its face from jumping to a conclusion without knowing the full story. Yeah, it sucks right now. But like 1380 is saying, if Trev Alberts leaving is the shock to the system, is the jolt, the catalyst for change that improves not just the Nebraska athletic department, but the University of Nebraska-Lincoln and the system. Mm-hmm. How can it not be worth it? And how can you be mad at the guy for that?
Exactly. And here's another part that just to think about. And again, I'm very apolitical. I am a free thinking, just individual that weighs and takes into account all aspects of it. But just think, just look, let me use the analogy here. This isn't an allegory. Is that right? Allegory? An analogy? Whatever.
Just to keep going with it.
Okay. There were a lot of emotions that were running high on all sides and every spectrum when COVID came out. A lot of people rushed to judgments. A lot of people discounted doctors and their decisions and what they, were assessing as they were dealing with patients. A lot of people went hard nosed into one element and one phase, and you looked at it and it's a wet market situation. And then as time begins to unfold, you begin to find out that it happened in the lab and, so forth and so on. You begin to find out that there are other issues that came with it. You begin to find out that that some doctors' remedies worked better than some of the others, even though they were squelching those. And that's what happens in time. Now, that's only an analogy. And I'm saying that in line with what you're saying. Because our emotions and our fears and our those things get heightened to a certain level, and you begin to go into corners. Whenever situations happen to us as people, right? Whenever problems persist, and I've talked about this in the basketball realm, one thing that you always do is you revert back to familiarity, or you get to comfort zone, or you go into tribal corners. Like, that happens just with people. You go back to where you're familiar, where you're comfortable, where you know that if you're looking around, you feel safe, right? You go into these zones. And in this situation with Trev, man, I just really just want us to, like you said, pause. Just pause, because here's the reason. Pause. I say that a lot. It doesn't make sense. This is where my free thinking mind kicks in, Austin. It doesn't make sense that you're 2 years in, you just re-up, you have a lot of stuff going for you, basketball program that you took a flyer on, and you basically stood behind the guy that everybody, like if the emotions that was running high with everybody, and not everybody, but a lot of people that was on this line, a lot of people naysaying me on, just comments I had when I was going down to watch practices. You guys threw Nebraska out in the wind and let it fly like a piece of lint. I mean, a lot of people was like, oh. And then you look back on it and you're like, you know what? Dang, that was a solid decision. Because it could have been different. But if we hadn't flew with the emotions that a lot of people were feeling, get rid of Fred, get him out of here. That could have been a whole different story.
You don't have this season.
You don't have the season. You don't have it. So that's why I'm saying let's pause. Let's accept, because it doesn't make sense to really, in essence, make a lateral move, because it's not a lot more money. You're just right there with the possibilities of ensuring you're in the top 3 in the Big Ten, which continuously potentially puts you in the top 10 anyway. All you're doing is, this is a lateral move, because there's, as McEwen just said, there's not much different with the football program and the issues and the problems that they have down there. You have a new coach, one that you're not familiar with, one you didn't hire, you're trusting and believing. So you're going to have to deal with probably more issues going into that situation than you're dealing with here. So there's other outliers. There's something else going on, whether it be with Chancellor, whether it be with regents, whether it be with the uncertainty of the no signing of a president, with the loss of your advocacies, there could be a whole swath of other things. And that's where I'm saying we probably need to pause.
Great words from, again, guy with Husker legacy, Erick Strickland. A couple things from the text line. Shootout with Strick coming up, and we will have Omaha Supernovas tickets to give away. Money G says, if Texas A&M could not show him the courtesy to come back and face-to-face visit with the staff at Nebraska before accepting this job, and he still took the A&M job. What does that tell you? What I'm hearing is that Trev Alberts did come back today or is coming back today to meet with the staff. At the end of that meeting, he's gone. He's A&M's athletic director. It was a bad look to send the email.
Oh, yeah.
It was terrible. That is not the way you're supposed to handle it. I would encourage people to go back and listen to DP's segment from yesterday. I think it is either the 5 o'clock. I think it was the 5:30 segment, wherever you get your podcasts. Go find that, because DP said that's not how you handle family. And Strick, like I said to you, Trev's family. He's in your fraternity, fraternity, different chapter, but he's Nebraska family through and through.
Yeah.
He told us as much. So either he's a bold-faced liar, or there's more going on behind the scenes, which is where I'll throw Jesse's text out there. If there are problems behind the scenes, then step up, help be part of the solution instead of running from the problem. I get it. I get that that's the optics from the outside. It's not a good look how he handled it. But Strick, as you and I were talking off air, and as the more I think about this, who in Trev Alberts' circle of confidants, in terms of his leadership, is still around? Nobody. Ronnie left. Ted left. That's his inner circle. Maybe there's a disagreement with the regents. Maybe with the new chancellor. We don't know for sure. But when you look at, hey, Trev's biggest supporters are gone, he doesn't feel that, it makes it more understandable as to why he would jump. I'm going to give Trev the benefit of the doubt that he tried to be part of the solution and that he didn't run from the problem. If it comes out that it's all about the money and it got too difficult and it was just a hissy fit and spur-of-the-moment decision to go to A&M, fine. I'm wrong. Like Sam was saying, my impression of it is that's not Trev Alberts.
Yeah.
So why are we assuming that?
One quick thing before we go to break. Think about it like this. When you're in, let's just look at this scenario. Vietnam. The Vietnam War. Bad optics, all kinds of things about Vietnam. At home, they didn't love you. You got all the stuff there. But guess what? No matter what, you're still in the fight. You're still in the jungle.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in the jungle, who do you prefer to be with you? Friend, or looking over your shoulder, wondering if the friend is going to
actually be your friend?
Be your friend.
Mm-hmm.
Run, hide, not back you up. If you take a bullet wound to the leg, are they going to come get you?
Or are they running for
or
their
are
own
they going
life?
to be out for their own self?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So now look, I'm not advocating or saying what Trev has done is right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm just basically saying when you have and you're in a fight, when McEwen basically said he had to handle and wear all types of gear in a specific situation, you're fighting for a big vision, but you don't have friend, you don't have brother, you don't have, arm in arm, rock solid soldier with you that you've been in the fight with before. It can be very, fearful.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because you don't know where you stand. You don't know if you're going to make it. You don't know if you can make it because you don't know who's with you. Now, I'm not saying that that's the case, but I'm just saying that's a possibility of what somebody could be going through.
Well, I think that's logical. I think
It's
if
logical.
people follow it step by step, they track your logic. We got $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings to give away. We do it through the shootout with Strick. 402-464-5685. Call now on the Honda of Lincoln hotline. 4 questions for Stricky and 4 for you. You win, you get the $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings. Keep your texts coming on the Trev Alberts situation, the departure. Here's the next question we'll get to lead off the 3 o'clock hour. What was Trev Alberts' greatest sin? Was it that he left? Was it that he left for A&M? Was it that it wasn't a clear step up? Was it the email? What did Trev Alberts do most wrong? What are you holding against him to want his name taken off the stadium? We'll get to that, but first we need a caller, 402-464-5685. Play the shootout with Strick next. Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
Hey, it's Chad with the Nutrition Authority inviting you to stop in and check out the all-new complete post-workout recovery, CPR. CPR is ideal for anyone who works out or competes and wants to maximize results. CPR can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today and try a free sample or visit us at mynutritionauthority.com.
Pre-owned sprayer or planter from Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealer. We offer one of the area's largest selections of used sprayers, applicators, planters, and seeders. Through the month of March, take advantage of fixed-rate financing as low as 3.9% for up to 60 months or a 12-month interest waiver. Visit your local Landmark Implement location or view our complete sprayer and seeding inventory online at landmarkimp.com and experience the Landmark difference.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Houses? They're expensive. And once you buy one, you're kind of stuck with it for a while. You need to make sure you get your best house for the best price. You need Ben Bleicher and his team of pros at Professional Realty Group. They'll take the time to figure out what's important for you in your dream home, and they have the expertise to find the hidden issues that could surprise you after the sale. That's professional knowledge, proactive service. We call that potential. Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's home service ambassador. Find more online at prg-ne.com.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197. At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
Here in the heart of the Midwest, the call of the wild meets the passion for conservation. At Nebraska Game and Parks, we're not just preserving nature, we are shaping its future. Work in our state parks or as a biologist, accountant, conservation officer, or a variety of other roles. And come work where you love to play. You can make a difference for Nebraskans and for our state's wildlife and wild places. Apply today at outdoornebraska.gov. Paid for by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
It's time to play Shootout with Strick. Call now, 464-5685, to take your shot against Erick Strickland. Shootout with Strick. Brought to you by Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Time to play the game!
We're wrapping up hour one here up on the block, playing the game show, the Shootout with Strick. We go to the Honda of Lincoln hotline. We welcome in Dave. Dave, good afternoon. How are you?
Oh, kind of like the weather, up and down.
Fair enough. Dave, we know you know the rules, so we're just going to jump straight into the game, starting with Stricky's round. All right, Stricky, your round starts once I find the right mouse over here in 3, 2, and 1. They allowed the fewest points per game in the Big Ten Conference this year, Michigan State or Maryland.
Say it again.
They allowed the fewest points per game in the Big Ten this year. It was Maryland. They scored the most points per game in the Big Ten, Purdue or Iowa?
Iowa.
It was Purdue. He shot the highest percentage from 3 in the Big Ten, Jamison Battle or Peyton Sanford?
Sanford.
It was Battle. And he grabbed the most rebounds per game in the Big Ten.
Amore.
It was not.
No, you
said it.
I paused.
You said it. It is not.
I know who it is.
You know who it is, but you don't get the points for it.
That's a bull, John.
Who is it?
Big fella.
What's big fella's name?
Edie.
It is Edie. Stricky. Stricky.
He could give those points to me.
Dave, you're going to do this the right way. You're going to do it honestly. Are you ready for your round?
I think.
Okay, it starts here in 3, 2, and 1. They allowed the most points per game in the Big Ten this year. Michigan or Iowa?
Let's say Michigan.
It was Michigan. They scored the fewest points per game in the Big Ten. Indiana or Rutgers?
Let's go with Indiana.
It was Rutgers. He led the Big Ten in assist-to-turnover ratio. Bruce Thornton or Chucky Hepburn?
Go with Chucky.
It was Thornton, and he scored the most points per game in the Big Ten.
Oh, the guy from Purdue, the tall guy.
What's his name?
Well, let me go get a paper and I'll tell you.
No, it doesn't count.
No,
it does not count.
I don't remember his name.
Just said it.
Zach Edey.
I just said
is
it.
the answer.
Well, I'm sorry.
I said it. I can't believe you didn't get that. Oh, I feel bad for you. I feel bad like everybody feels right now about Trev.
I was focusing on the next question.
All right, we go to the tiebreaker.
Wow.
We go to the tiebreaker, knotted up at 1 apiece. I will ask the question to Strick. Dave, you will go over or under his answer. Sound good?
Yep.
Okay, here's the question. How many Big Ten men's basketball players averaged 20 or more points per game this season? How many Big Ten men's basketball players averaged 20 or more points per game this season?
4.
Dave, Stricky says 4. Your answer is?
I'll go over.
Stricky said a good line. The answer was 3. 3. Zach Edey, Terrence Shannon Jr., and Jameer Young. Dave, a valiant effort. Thanks for playing. Call again soon.
I feel like the champ. You know what I'm talking about. Bud Crawford. I feel like Bud Crawford right now. Yo!
How did you pull that one out?
I threw a good line out there.
Tricky devil magic.
I didn't want to go 3. I felt that was a little too low. I said, let me go 4. That'll put a little friction out there a little bit. Gotta make a decision. Yeah.
Edey, Shannon, and Jameer Young.
Yeah.
Are the 3. Stricky, I don't know how you got it done, but you
have
did.
no clue how I pulled that off. That was the straight David Copperfield moment.
Straight up.
Straight up. Just straight Vegas with illusions everywhere. I don't know how I pulled that out the hat. Yeah.
Job well done. We still have the $30 in Buffalo Wings and Rings to give away. We'll come up with a trivia question after the break, but here's what we're going to give away for free. Do you want Omaha Supernovas tickets for tonight? Text in your name and your email address. That's it. No strings for Omaha Supernovas tickets. 7 o'clock game tonight, 6 o'clock pregame right here on the air. We got a lot of tickets to give away. As many people as text in, we'll make sure we can do our best to find tickets for you. 402-464-5685. If you want free Omaha Supernovas tickets, we'll give away $30 to Buffalo Wings and Rings and discuss this question. What was Trev Alberts' greatest sin in this saga at Nebraska? We'll talk about that and more as we get to hour 2 of On the Block. Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mixed Concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. Nebco offers great pay, medical, and retirement benefits, paid time off, and we pay for CDL training. Apply today to earn an average total compensation of $50,000 to $60,000 your first year driving. From Nebco's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Imagine a healthier, more active, physically fit version of yourself. If you've been putting off getting into shape, now is the time with the Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping 10-Week Challenge. Our program combines kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition coaching to help you achieve your fitness goals. And ticket listeners, you can get $150 off the enrollment fee. The next challenge begins on March 23rd. You can get all the info at fxblincoln.com. Don't wait any longer. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping at 40th and Yankee Hill and 70th and Vine.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive Certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Hi, folks. Sean Callahan here for Couple Chevrolet GMC, and the Chevrolet and GMC Truck Month is now underway. We've got huge savings in Louisville. Get $9,000 off or 1.9% for 72 months on select models. Yes, you heard right. That's $9,000 off or 1.9% for 72 months happening right now at Koppel. So take that short money saving drive down 144th Street or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. All deals with roof credit. Stock number G214773.
Prashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Attention all Nebraska basketball fans. The NCAA tournament is coming soon, and Nebraska looks to be on its way to their first appearance in 10 years. Better Tree Removal wants to celebrate the occasion and any possible success in the tournament by offering a deal. If you're in need of tree removal on your property, call or text Todd by March 20th. If Nebraska wins the first round game, you'll get 25% off the bid. If they win two, you'll get 50% off. You must contact Todd at 402-780-1377 before March 20th.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, scattered showers likely throughout the day. It'll be breezy too, with an afternoon high around 50. Tonight, a slight chance of showers early, then mostly cloudy and a low around 36. And tomorrow, mostly sunny skies return. See an afternoon high around 58. I'm meteorologist Kyle Klecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Now, to tie it back to Nebraska men's basketball, this group has a chance to do something that hasn't been done before.
Yeah.
You know, in making a run in the Big Ten tournament, a serious run, in winning the first NCAA tournament game, but they're not going to get there by doing the same things they've always done. It is on this team to step up and change that narrative. It won't change on its own. Teams won't lay over for you, and that's the mindset shift we haven't consistently seen yet.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Forget the lame excuse this year. Your boss already knows why you can't make it to work for those magical 2 days in mid-March. Join 93.7 The Ticket on Thursday and Friday, March 21st and 22nd at Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O for March Mayhem. Come early on Thursday and get a ping pong ball with a lucky team on it. And stay all day for prizes throughout and buzzer beater upsets. It's March Mayhem with 93.7 The Ticket for the NCAA tournament at Buffalo Wings and Rings, 68th and O. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Erick Strickland.
Strickland for three! You're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America, on air and online at theticketfm.com. Presented by NEBCO. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Hour 2 of the show here at 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com, brought to you by NEBCO. Again, this is the first week of our partnership with them. Really appreciate them for stepping up to the plate, giving us a sponsor here for the show. If you're looking for a new career, looking for a fresh start, make sure you visit nebcoinc.com. That's nebcoinc.com. Plenty of job openings available for you. I'm sure you'll hear the spot in my voice with all those job listings if you're curious as to what they are. But again, nebcoinc.com. Still looking for people who want Omaha Supernovas tickets tonight. They're free. Send your name, send your email. Bryce on the text line has claimed his fair share already. Be like Bryce. Go support the Omaha Supernovas tonight against the Atlanta Vibe. 402-464-5685 is the number to text if you would like some of those tickets, or if you have an answer to this question. What was the greatest sin for Trev Alberts at Nebraska? And that's what I want to dive into here, Strick, because we'll get into the things Trev Alberts did positively. It's a long list, maybe even longer than some people would want to admit right now. But when you look at the bad things that Trev Alberts did at Nebraska, you heard rumors about some potential impropriety with some accounting behind the scenes, some numbers fudging to try to make the budget fit and work. There's the Ashley Scoggin lawsuit that was filed. He was named in it. And then, of course, the email.
Well, you also have the situation with Mickey
Joseph. Good call.
Yeah, that also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, all in all, it felt like a much more stable time in Nebraska athletics, especially because the lawsuit just broke and the email was less than 24 hours ago. I go back to what you said in the first hour, and again, encourage people, if you're watching on the stream, you can rewind it during a commercial break and listen to it, or check out the podcast tonight to listen back to everything Strick said. It's not so much that Trev Alberts left, it's how. Is that fair? The email, not telling people face-to-face. Again, he might be coming back for a meeting, might have already had a meeting with staff today before he gets on his way to College Station. But do you think people are really mad about the email, or are they more mad about something else?
I think it's probably a combination of both. I would say what happens is you re-up. You've stated that you have vision and you're committed to the Big Red. And so some of those will be upset by that, because that could come across as snaky, right?
Mm.
On the surface, it could come across as snaky, but it's okay. Let me give you an example. How would you view this, Austin? And how did people view this when people like James Harden and Kevin Durant or whatever, they sign these big deals before they're really trying to get out, but they want to get the super max before they get out. Now, I'm not saying this is a similar situation, but I'm trying to give an example of how did the fans feel? What was your perception? And how does it come across as you on the surface? Right? We don't know what was going on between him and Daryl Morey. We know that when he was in China, he said he was a snake, and but you don't really know the dynamic that they had. This is why I'm saying you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. You just know that it looks snaky that you signed this big deal. You say you're committed to New York, you want to stay here and build it, and then all of a sudden you break camp. On the surface, it feels like how did you take that?
I wouldn't take it well.
It doesn't come across as good. So there's why I say I think it's a combination of both. Now, here's the other part. High-level execs and high-level people that are running huge companies, they make mistakes. Right? It's how you judge them is how, they finish whatever it is, wherever they go, whatever they decide to do. That's probably how you judge them. Don't judge them on, a mistake, a rash move, because that's only a one-off in the whole body of work, right? Like guess who, a lot of people judge Kobe Bryant way back in the situation, but then his body of work, in some instances redeemed him in the eyes of some, right? A lot of people jumped on LeBron James for the initial move.
For the decision.
The
pageantry, all that.
So it was a one-off. Yeah, you did it, Snakey. Yeah, that's you go on ESPN and do that. Like, you could have went to the people. A lot of people jumped on Kyrie Irving for, I'm going to be back. We're going to run it back and do it again. And then you bounce. You know what I'm saying? So these situations, they happen, but the emotions of people change, and they become shifty or whatever they may be dealing with internally, a family issue. Some people just want to go back home and be closer to, I'm just saying there's so many other circumstances outside of just the one-off of the situation that can cause people to make these types of decisions.
That's another good question for the text line in the comment section.
And I'm about to put a tweet out.
And Tricky's about to put a tweet out. Where can people find that tweet, Stricky?
You can go to eStrick20 and find the tweet that I'm about to put out. Here is the gist of the tweet, and I'm going to also tag Austin Orman as well as 93.7 The Ticket and hashtag on the block. It's going to state, who would you be more willing to welcome back to Big Red Country? Choice 1, Trev Alberts, Scott Frost, Steve Peterson, and Bo Pelini. I'm going to throw those 4 out there and just love to get your thoughts on it. 937 The Ticket. You can get it, as well as eStrick20 and Austin Orman, Austin _Orman, OERMAN. You can also find those there.
You sure can. You touched on something that I think would also be relevant to the text line in the comment section to answer as well. You talk about emotions changing, situations changing. Husker fans, Husker haters, whoever you are in the text line or stream, how have your emotions surrounding this situation changed? Have they? Do you still feel the same way you did 24 hours ago? Is your fire burning brighter? Has the edge come off of the decision? Let us know, because I think we're seeing all across the spectrum of emotions of the people that are still hot, that feel like they were stabbed in the back, that never want to welcome Trev back. I think we're seeing people like Crowbait on the text line saying Alberts didn't do anything wrong. He was in a lose-lose situation. Wish him the best.
Here's what
there's a happy medium. Trev Alberts wasn't perfect.
Right.
You heard Sam McEwen say the way he ran things was maybe more effective than previous guys, but maybe wasn't perfect for the university. Trev Alberts didn't have a 100% success rate. If he did, the lawsuit never gets here. The Mickey Joseph situation is handled differently. He doesn't just send an email, right? Trev Alberts wasn't perfect. He made some missteps, but that's not cover for him. He wasn't perfect, but I don't think he was the ultimate Nebraska villain.
When you talk about emotions, like, here's one thing that I like to do here on the block with Austin. And we thank you guys always for joining in. The listeners on the stream, on YouTube, on X, on Twitch, on Facebook. We appreciate you. But one thing that I always try to do is I try to apply it to life. Yes, we get so inundated with sports, and we love sports, and we love talking about sports, but there's so many other things with life that comes in that, because some of you weren't able to play this at the level that I was able to play. You may have played at the Pee Wee level. You may have played at the high school level. You've still had maybe a touch of it. Some of you've just been outsiders looking in, have been just respecters of it because you love it in a different way. But here's why I'm trying to apply life to it, because the emotions, what you just said, Austin, you just talked about the emotions. Here's an example of like emotions in the life perspective, because we want to take it out of the sports. We want to apply it to life. You come home, you've been working your butt off all day. You're tired, you're restless. You've been dealing with a boss or supervisor that you've kind of frustrated with, and you walk in, and this is a man or a woman, it doesn't matter, and your wife is cheating on you. They're having an affair. And you walk in on it.
It wasn't me.
You were in love. It wasn't you.
It wasn't
you. You were in love before that moment. You're expecting to come into maybe a meal, to see your wife, just to decompress from the day. and you walk in on an affair. How quickly the emotions change.
Mm-hmm.
You wake up in the morning, the routine is similar. I'm just going to give 2 and I'm done, but I just want to show you how
it's your
just
show.
life
Talk
it can
through
apply.
Yeah.
You wake up in the morning, you get your coffee, you have your breakfast, you go on the same routine, jump in the car, take the same route, you get to work, but you have a pink slip.
Mm.
And they're literally laying you off or they're firing you right then. Unexpectedly, didn't send you an email, left you a pink slip, but didn't even tell you about it. Like they didn't call you into the office and have a discussion and just say, hey, look, your numbers have been down, or hey, your evaluations haven't been up to par. No, they just left you a pink slip and didn't say nothing about it. How quickly your emotions can change. That's all I'm saying is I just want to give you something to show as one, I understand how you may be feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to be desensitized to that. I understand how you may be feeling, but also how quickly and how rash our emotions can take over, because sometimes those emotions cause us to do something that can lead us to prison time for a long time, right? Just in the spur of that moment. So I'm just saying some people handle things differently. Some people see it from different perspectives, but sometimes it's just take a pause, because the decision that you make or the rash in which you take could end up causing you to have a larger problem than if you just pause for a minute, just kind of let things play themselves out, get understanding, have conversations, go to the boss, and then, maybe talk about it and get an understanding. And all that get an understanding. That's why I like to leave it.
And sometimes you try to go to the boss, but they're not receptive. They don't want to have that conversation with you. But that in and of itself is a conversation. If they're not willing to have it, that tells you everything you need to know about how that business was being conducted.
And maybe it's better that you not be there.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a blessing right now. Maybe it's a blessing in disguise. We won't know that today. We won't know that tomorrow. We might not know that for years here. Absolutely, we won't. But again, we're talking about the missteps in Trev Alberts' tenure. 2366 says letting Frost come back for the 22 season. If you fired Frost after 21, we wouldn't have Rule. Okay, interesting. Looking at your Twitter poll here, Strike, before we get into this from 9924 and a couple other people here as well. Bo Pelini, most likely to be welcomed back by Husker fans. Makes sense to me. I think there's the least amount of spite and venom for Bo Pelini, but I also think we skip over just how tense the end of that tenure was. When the comments came out, how much Nebraska people were like, okay, you don't want to be here, leave. It wasn't just the athletic department. Yeah. It's easier to look back now and be softened by, hey, 9 wins a year is pretty great, but let's not undersell just how acrimonious the word might be Bo Pelini's exit really was, between him and the athletic department and a good chunk of the fan base in him.
Mm-hmm.
You're going through some stuff on the YouTube stream. Kevin, Mike, Dion, everyone else, we appreciate you having a conversation there. We do see you, and we're trying to fold your thoughts here into our discussion as well. 9924, we have a couple minutes to talk about this, and we'll definitely keep this going. But 9924 says, I love this place. I love the state of Nebraska. I don't want to be anywhere else. I believe this is the best athletic director job in the country. That's obviously subjective, but that, to me, Strick, is also resonating with Husker fans in why Texas A&M?
Yeah.
That's a weird move. Like, is Nebraska no longer a destination job? Clearly, Texas A&M isn't a destination job. You see people leave there, get fired there all the time.
There's some instability there.
Yeah. Ross Bjork took the AD job at Ohio State instead of staying at A&M. They have their own political issues behind the scenes. The difference is, yes, there's more oil money. It's a bigger city being close to Houston than Nebraska is. That, to me, is what I think is going to stick in Nebraska fans' craw for the longest amount of time. Because Trev Alberts had offers to replace Bill Hancock on the college football playoff committee as one of the executive chairs. If he takes that job, hey, that's a step up. Hey, that's a guy that's going to fight for Midwestern teams in respect and their style of play in college football playoff discussions. That's clearly a step up than just an athletic director gig. But to go be an athletic director with no known additional responsibilities at a school who helped destroy your old conference that you helped found in the state of Texas that you don't like. Oh, and you did it over email. That's how fans found out about it and staff. That to me is, I think, the sticking point for Husker fans. Why would, even though he's not a Nebraskan, right? He's from Iowa. Why would someone that choose to go to Nebraska twice, when presented with a third opportunity, leave for Texas of all places?
Well, here's the thing, right? Here's something to just consider. When Trev Alberts went to UNO, he had what? A big vision.
Mm-hmm.
He made big decisions to do things that made a lot of people mad, but got stuff done. Okay. He then tasked to come here to the University of Nebraska, and he comes with a big vision. So and again, I don't know this. This is something I don't know, but I'm just thinking, I'm spitballing. It could have been with no president, no advocacy, big vision hindered by whatever, power brokers, instability, doing way too much, not having help in the matter of building. Like, there's nothing worse than having a super huge vision and there's no one to help you build it with, and you've got to do it by yourself.
Put the Superman cape on, build it yourself.
There's nothing, there's nothing worse. And I'm not saying that this is the case. I'm just saying it's possible.
Because like you're a businessman, you have other ventures. You're not doing that stuff on your own.
No, I've got help. And I would say, like the company that we build is Cerebro Sports. I can tell you that I was a COO at one point, right? And part of my leadership and part of my options, if my pride was in existence, I could have just stayed in the position. And I could have been like, I want to be that. I want to be the forefront. I could have stayed in it for the money, whatever it could have. But I always knew that the vision was bigger than me. I wanted to just get us to a position and to a place where then it was bigger than me for someone else who had a better understanding, who had taken companies, a little bit further, or went to Series A's and went through angel funding and all of that stuff, that type of experience. And I told the CEO, I said, listen, when that time comes, I will buy out. Don't look at me and consider and be mad or think that I'm going to be upset. I will buy out, and I want somebody else to help. And it's now thriving in the right direction. Now, I could have hindered that process. So what I'm saying is, when you have super big vision, maybe at Texas A&M, they're giving them a little bit more leeway. Maybe there's a little bit more money to fund maybe the visions of what he wants to do. And look, I'm not saying that that's the case. I don't know. But it's very possible, if what McEwen has said and maybe others are saying about the stadium, that it was visionary, it was started, it was in movement, but it ain't finalized and paper signed and documented, and everything is on point to go to the full distance of finishing and completing that task. The money may not always already be available. Maybe the visions that he laid out for what he wanted to do, they were a little bit apropos to let him, get that done. That's very possible. And some people would move for that reason alone. Just in my big thinking, if you're putting my big goal, my little goldfish into a small little goldfish bowl, I might need to be in a big old a tank in order to grow.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. Because the goldfish only grows as big as
the container,
the tank, or the pond that they're in.
You're not going to stretch out. You're just going to get fat and not be able to do as much if you're still in the bowl. From Sam's article, I'm glad you brought that up again, especially about the funding. If that is a major sticking point, if the vision's not there, the alignment isn't there, to some degree, it's hard to blame the boosters and the donors. Like, they had to pony up a lot of money to get that new facility built. Being asked to not only contribute to that $150 million project that I think went over budget, now being asked to give big donations to collectives, support student athletes that way, because the university legally can't pay its own athletes, so it needs to get that money from somewhere to be competitive. And now looking for triple the amount of money that you spend on a new facility to redo the stadium, just with those first and third projects alone, that's $600 million at least. On top of who knows what Nebraska's bringing in and putting out in terms of NIL. I'm sure it's fine, but I don't think it's top tier in the country.
So you're always people that you're going to have to pay
more.
Yeah.
I can understand where boosters and donors would be a little hesitant. Like, y'all are sucking us dry.
Yeah.
When is enough enough? And I can understand with that. I can identify with that. But that's where in Sam's piece here, he says, the University of Kansas, with virtually no football pedigree, won a $50 million state grant from the state of Kansas for its stadium overhaul. Last year, Creighton University made a pitch to receive state funds for helping build new baseball and softball fields. The Nebraska legislature eventually gave Creighton $30 million in state cash reserve funds for various building plans that can include the fields. There's been no loud push yet for the public funding of Memorial Stadium. Boosters asked to shell out money for the new football building, still unnamed and not quite done. And for student-athlete name, image, and likeness payments may be weary of reaching back in their pockets. That's a reality.
It's a reality.
I'm sure Texas A&M boosters and donors didn't love having to pay Jimbo Fisher $75 million. They're looking to redo their baseball stadium. For as much money and power as there is in Nebraska, you will always have simpler access, more direct access to funds in Texas with oil money than you will at Nebraska. Plain and simple. And again, it might not even be a salary issue. It might be a money issue. So I can understand where Trev would feel some of that pull too of like, man, I'm doing everything I can to tell these people it's going to be worth it, but we've already sucked them dry after one of the worst cataclysms we've seen on our earth in hundreds of years with COVID coming out of that, people trying to recover and get their lives back in order.
Yeah.
Man, that's a lot to ask of the donors. I can understand where Trev would be like, I can't do this anymore. I can't ask these people for any more. I can't put myself out there like that for my reputation.
Well, and then when you get to that point, when you get to that breaking point, when you get to the edge where you're staring over and it's nothing else to do but to fall flat on your face or belly flop into the ocean. When you get to that point, there's a time where you want to stretch out and make new connections and have established new relationships. Because I would venture to say that I think Trev probably does have bigger goals than just even being an AD. You know what I mean? And that's going to require an expansion of relationships beyond the comfort of where you've done business before. And the major stake of what Trev has done his business has been where? Right here in the state. 12
15 years of his career.
Yeah, 15 years of his career have been here. So that's where I come to the position. And the best way I can relate to that is, after my divorce and the comfort of Texas. I love Texas. I love being there. A lot of my relationships and resources were there. And after the divorce, with all the outlying things that come with that, and, friendships and relationships and people talking and texting, and, you're getting all of this good feedback, negative feedback, and all this stuff that happens. Guess what Stricky did? I said, peace. I went out to Florida. I went out to Orlando. I looked at 4 different places, just like probably Trev got probably some calls and looked around, and as anybody
His
else
agent
does.
called around, said, hey.
Yeah, who's available? What's available? I looked at 4 different cities. I looked at Phoenix. I looked at Vegas. I looked at Charlotte. I looked at Orlando, and maybe if I stayed in Dallas. I had 5 options. I chose Orlando. Didn't really know but one person, no resources. Didn't know, what to think of the place or the land. Never been there and lived there before. Been there, but not lived there. And decided to do that. Sometimes people just want to stretch out and become
fresh start.
Sometimes that's the case. And I'm not, again, I'm not speaking on the behalf of Trev, but I'm just saying life. Sometimes life's just, exposes us to those types of situations.
For sure. On the financials here, real quick before break, Scott from Bancroft says, we seriously only play 6, 7, or 8 games at home each year. We don't need to reduce South Stadium. It's a college football stadium. Yes, but think about Northwestern's Ryan Field renovation. They want to be able to use it more than just for football home games. Think about the Garth Brooks concert that was there. I think that was late Bill Moose, early Trev Alberts. Nebraska wants to be able to use Memorial Stadium as a source of revenue for more than just football. So you have to modernize. And here's the thing. Modern college football fans that go to games don't watch and don't have the same priorities as people who used to go to the games. Memorial Stadium's still great on the aggregate. It's good. It's an iconic stadium. But man, South Stadium needs it. It really does. It was going to have to happen sooner or later. Maybe not the best timing, but better to at least get the ball rolling, have the plans in the works. The money will trickle in when it does. He's Strick. I'm Austin. We want your answer to this question. How have your emotions changed, if at all, over the last 24 hours with all the news relating to Trev Alberts and his departure? 9031, you gave us a text on that. We'll get to that and more on the Trev Alberts saga at Nebraska next.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Attention all Nebraska basketball fans. The NCAA tournament is coming soon, and Nebraska looks to be on its way to their first appearance in 10 years. Better Tree Removal wants to celebrate the occasion and any possible success in the tournament by offering a deal. If you're in need of tree removal on your property, call or text Todd by March 20th. If Nebraska wins the first round game, you'll get 25% off the bid. If they win two, you'll get 50% off. You must contact Todd at 402-780-1377 before March 20th.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, scattered showers likely throughout the day. It'll be breezy too, with an afternoon high around 50. Tonight, a slight chance of showers early, then mostly cloudy and a low around 36. And tomorrow, mostly sunny skies return. We'll see an afternoon high around 58. I'm meteorologist Kyle Tucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
This is Monster Jam.
Big air, backflips, and all-out racing. Coming to Pinnacle Bank Arena March 29th and 30th. The fun begins at the pit party Saturday at 10:30 a.m., where you can meet the drivers, get autographs, take pictures, and see the trucks up close. Pit pass must be accompanied by same-day 1 p.m. event ticket. Get your $20 pit party pass at monsterjam.com today. Restrictions may apply. Rules and activities are subject to change. Visit website for event details.
Forget the lame excuse this year. Your boss already knows why you can't make it to work for those magical 2 days in mid-March. Join 93.7 The Ticket on Thursday and Friday, March 21st and 22nd at Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O for March Mayhem. Come early on Thursday and get a ping pong ball with a lucky team on it. And stay all day for prizes throughout and buzzer beater upsets. It's March Mayhem with 93.7 The Ticket for the NCAA tournament at Buffalo Wings and Rings, 68th and O.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive Certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Not many businesses can say they've made it 60 years, but Madsen's Bowling and Billiards can. With 12 bowling lanes and the biggest pool room in Nebraska, where else would you go to enjoy an afternoon or evening? There's a great daily specials like $2 Tuesdays, games of bowling, shoe rentals, draft beers, and tacos, all just $2 each. Have a delicious burger at EJ's Lounge before or after your bowling or pool session, and you'll leave satisfied. Madsen's Bowling and Billiards at 47th and Dudley.
Hi, it's Charlie Stone back with the latest update from Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, your new car selection keeps getting better and better every month. Can you tell our listeners all about it?
You know, it sure is, Charlie. It's great that our customers can come in, pick out a new Honda, and drive away with it that day.
How many new Hondas do you have in stock?
Well, right now we have just about 100 in stock.
Hey, I hear you've won some very important awards in your service department. Tell us about them.
Well, the first one is we won the award for the first fixed award. So the cars are actually fixed on the very first time they're brought in. Second award is our Customer Service Experience Award. And then our third award is our Honda Express Service Elite. And we rank the best in quality and customer satisfaction.
Maybe it's time you come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back here during On the Block, brought to you by Nebco. Check out any job openings at nebcoinc.com. Austin Norman, Erick Strickland with you for another 20 minutes, half an hour or so. DP Rico just about to be on the road on the way up to Omaha. Still have Omaha Supernovas tickets for tonight to give away. All you got to do is nothing. Big fat nothing. Text 402-464-5685 with your name and your email address as well as how many tickets you want. I think we can give a couple more sets of 4 away, so make sure you do that quickly if you are able and desire to go to tonight's Omaha Supernovas game. The question in front of us here, Strick, is have the emotions changed in the last 24 hours of the Trev Alberts saga developing? 9031 says this, and I think it's a great jumping off point. I'm still sick over this. Maybe it's because I feel like this only happens at Nebraska. Like, we can't, as an administration, get out of the own way, whether it's posturing or whatever it might be. I would say this. It's not just Nebraska. You know, if you look across the country, there's infighting, there's backstabbing, there are power dynamics, there's money that talks absolutely everywhere. Where I think I agree, though, is that as soon as something seems to be going Nebraska's way, something bad pops up. You know, in the 90s, your era on through the football natties, a lot of those problems were either able to be covered up or the teams were talented enough to make outside distractions not matter. Since the calendar is, flipped to the 2000s, look at the 2010s, the early 2020s here. It seems like whenever there's a spark of momentum for a Nebraska program, something goes wrong, whether it's at the administration level, whether it's above them at the, governmental, political, regents level, or even just on the court, like softball, primed to host a College World Series regional, and Jordy Ball tears up her knee. Nebraska's not cursed. This stuff happens everywhere else, but it feels like it happens really frequently at Nebraska.
Is that not crazy? It is one of the craziest dynamics that I would have to say and agree with you on. And this is why I think probably a lot of folks listening and those who are watching on stream or associated, connected, or in some form have some affiliation or love for the University of Nebraska. This is where that comes into play, because it in some instances it feels like The Ring, or it feels like The Exorcist, or
you need
the curse, or voodoo or something was put on the program in some form or fashion, and I think that's what's probably most frustrating. It's like the minute you see something good or something, a spark of light or a little, that would be like you being out in the woods, Austin, and you're about to you need fire because it's cold. You have a mini shelter, but the fire is going to help tremendously, and doggone it, you spark the flint and that fire starts to kind of just percolate, and then it freaking rains, right? And it just literally just canceled out. Like, you didn't even get a chance to get it going.
Sky was blue. It was clear. Something rolled in really fast.
Boom, dropped on you. That's what it feels like, because that's what the uncertainty of the day is right now. There's just I can imagine a baseball team, right? Let's just use this as a small inkling of a point. I can imagine the baseball team down in Wichita, right? Weren't they in Wichita? In Wichita, playing a game, getting on the bus to make their way home, and looking around, or maybe asking their coach, or maybe having conversations in the back like WTF, which is about to come on in a few hours. Like
what facts we talking about?
Yeah. Like, what the is going on? Like, I can imagine the minds of maybe some of the players, some of the kids. I can imagine just some of the thoughts, as they're preparing for spring. Like, what, I'm sitting there talking with AD and Raph, and I, shout out to them and their show, The Drive, and Amon and that crew. But I'm sitting there having a conversation with them, and we're, AD's asking me a question like, Strick, what would you talk to the players about? Like, what type of conversation would you have? And we ran through the different teams, coaches, and he's like, what would you do if you're Fred right now? What would you say to your team? And I would say I would be trying my best to not have media discussions, not to talk about anything, and to streamline focus on Big Ten and potentially NCAA, and I think they're in. But and then we talked about other coaches, and like, we're literally trying to have these discussions as to like, how would you convey this message to your team, to your players, in an era where you're trying to retain them, not just after not just recruiting anymore. You got to recruit the same players on your team now. It's a different dynamic. Year after year, season after season, moment after moment, you have to recruit your team all over. Like, how do you? What can you say to them about the instability of what's going on? Because that's like being a parent, and I'm going to let you talk, Austin, and some of you guys can. That's like being a parent that with a toddler, and you think that you can curse and you can talk and you're talking over them, and they don't understand, and they're not listening, and they're not getting it. Austin, get prepared. They hear your conversations. They know more than what we think they know. And that's what I'm trying to say about the players. Like, we may think that the players are only focused on the sport in hand. There's a lot of depth. And then me at 18, I told you my story. Me at 18, I wasn't looking at just the sport I was playing. I was looking at collective bargaining agreements, trying to figure out what was the best avenue, move or road that was for me. And these kids are thinking beyond what they're just the sport in the time that they're in the sport.
Trying to get the timeline right. Were you around for any of the Devaney to Burn switchover?
No,
you were just Burn.
I was just Burn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that would have been interesting too, because you can't not address it. You can't just ignore it and hope it goes away. But you also don't want to make it a focus if the team's not worried about it. Like, yeah, Trev Alberts was probably the biggest, highest profile advocate for these student athletes at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. At least most high profile, right? He has the biggest duty, I think, to them in a big picture sense. Well, that guy's gone. I can understand if they'd have questions if there's anything on their plate. But at the same time, in the day-to-day right now, it doesn't seem like there's anything looming. That's just not even over the horizon, but just around the corner. So I would think it wouldn't necessarily affect the day-to-day that much as long as the team has its head screwed on straight.
Yeah. But then again, that's got to be messy. But because you got to understand that sometimes there's a trickle-down effect.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just the athletic director in the same sense that, there's hierarchy or there's protocols. Like if you're an officer or enlisted in the Air Force or in the Army or whatever, you don't just go straight to the commanding officer. There's protocols, right?
Mm-hmm.
You go to the next man in chain. Maybe it's your sergeant. Maybe it's your you're the leader of your platoon or whatever the case may be before you go, to the next level. That's kind of and it's the same here. So yes, they're not necessarily a direct connection to Trev, but then they've got to think about their coaches. What their coaches may be thinking, what they may be feeling, how, are they wanting to bounce? How are they going to feel about the next guy? Like, don't think that those kids don't have those thoughts, because they're going to have to make decisions about whether or not they need to bounce, or should they go somewhere else, or should we be having conversations with the other person that I'm familiar with that we was close in the recruiting process before I chose Nebraska? Like, don't think that they're not processing thoughts like that. They are, because there's uncertainty in coaches. I'm sure Amy Williams, is with stuff going on, got to be wondering, because probably had an advocate there, but a new person that comes in, they don't have that same connection to you. So that's probably something that you got to be. Fred, look, Fred had a deal. You perform, you stay around, my boy. If you don't, you got to bounce, or you got to pay me some of that money. Give me some of that moolah back, right? New person comes in.
That deal ain't there.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm saying about there's relationships, there's coaching, there's deals that were made that the other person is not necessarily had to adhere to.
Right.
So that's a concern.
Cigar Guy, hopefully that answered your question. If it didn't, let us know. We can address a little bit here. Here's this. 3895 says, the sky's not falling. It's just an AD. It's not like we lost Rule or Hoiberg. Let it go. We'll get a new athletic director. Time to move on. Okay. Fair enough. I don't think you can very easily overstate and understate the loss. It's not insignificant, because, again, I would direct you back to the Sam McEwen interview. Trev Alberts knew a lot of people. He knew the inner workings. He had good relationships with his coaches, as far as we know. And you're just talking about just how big of a deal that can make. If your coaches feel supported, they're not worried about that. That stress doesn't overlap into their day job, day to day with the student athlete.
And that person's got the next person, Austin, has got to come in and get their feet wet. They've got to come in, rub shoulders, rub elbows. They can't just come in and start doing the work. That's a part that you're missing in that. You don't just come in and drop in like Superman and be like, voila, I'm here. No, there's stuff that's got to be done. There's relationships that got to be built. You've got to come and have conversations. You got to sit down. That's before you can even start to work.
It's not as simple as diving into the pool.
No, it's not as simple as just going and jumping off the diving board and doing a cannonball. No, it's not that simple, bro.
No.
There's a lot to it. Plus, there's a search. There's multiple meetings. There's going to be meetings with coaches and multiple ADs. Then you're going to make a decision. And then that person, this could be almost a 6-month process. You could be into football season before the person is really, the new AD is really going to start getting to work. It's very possible, because the search could go 4 months.
Yeah.
It's not a snap search. There's not ADs just sitting around right now. We're still in school.
Well, 4 months you're starting fall practice.
Yeah, you're still in school right now. So ADs right now who are still dealing with the off season. There's
academic year, athletic year.
They're still in it. So they're not just saying, "Oh yeah." It's not like it would be no different than when you have children that you don't just up and move your children in the middle of school. You try not to. Sometimes you have to, but you try not to do that because there's nothing worse than dropping a young child or a kid or a teenager into a new environment at the end of a season.
Unprepared.
Or meeting a whole new group of people and just dropping them into a new middle school and trying to just go feel your way. You'll make friends. It takes time.
Well, I think about that with Matt Rule, right? His family, most of them, stayed behind in Charlotte to finish out the school year. They were comfortable in that school.
Right.
Just because Matt Rule took the job right after Black Friday didn't mean he was going to completely uproot his family at that moment, which is where I think the timing is absolutely key. Something else I want to get to, I don't know if we have enough time here before the end of the show, but I want to go through Nebraska's athletic directors, just an overview and how long they stuck around, because most of them haven't stuck around that long. There hasn't been stability at that position for Nebraska really hardly ever. You know, you had Devaney and Byrne from 67 to 2002. Since then, turnover. Before that, plenty of turnover. What is it about Nebraska that people want to leave? Is it a stepping stone? Is it not a destination? Is it something bigger picture, kind of political, lack of vision and alignment? We don't know. So I think tomorrow's project is going to be looking at those athletic directors, their tenures. Why were they hired? Why did they leave? That'll be tomorrow, but we'll put a bow on this show next.
Plains Cover Crop is your one-stop seed shop. Call us now for spring and summer forages, CRP mixes, and fall cover crop blends. We do farm-specific consulting for practical and efficient seed blends to fit your geography and goals. With a very diverse inventory, we will tailor a blend just for you. We're also looking for contract growers, and we buy and sell rye. Find us online at plainscovercrop.com. Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
Cover more acres with a pre-owned sprayer or planter from Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealer. We offer one of the area's largest selections of used sprayers, applicators, planters, and seeders. Through the month of March, take advantage of fixed-rate financing as low as 3.9% for up to 60 months or a 12-month interest waiver. Visit your local Landmark Implement location or view our complete sprayer and seeding inventory online at landmarkimp.com and experience the Landmark difference.
Attention all Nebraska basketball fans. The NCAA tournament is coming soon, and Nebraska looks to be on its way to their first appearance in 10 years. Better Tree Removal wants to celebrate the occasion and any possible success in the tournament by offering a deal. If you're in need of tree removal on your property, call or text Todd by March 20th. If Nebraska wins the first round game, you'll get 25% off the bid. If they win two, you'll get 50% off. You must contact Todd at 402-780-1377 before March 20th.
Forget the lame excuse this year. Your boss already knows why you can't make it to work for those magical 2 days in mid-March. Join 93.7 The Ticket on Thursday and Friday, March 21st and 22nd at Buffalo Wings and Rings at 68th and O for March Mayhem. Come early on Thursday and get a ping pong ball with a lucky team on it. And stay all day for prizes throughout and buzzer beater upsets. It's March Mayhem with 93.7 The Ticket for the NCAA tournament at Buffalo Wings and Rings, 68th and O.
Not many businesses can say they've made it 60 years, but Madsen's Bowling and Billiards can. With 12 bowling lanes and the biggest pool room in Nebraska, where else would you go to enjoy an afternoon or evening? There's a great daily specials like $2 Tuesdays, games of bowling, shoe rentals, draft beers, and tacos, all just $2 each. Have a delicious burger at EJ's Lounge before or after your bowling or pool session, and you'll leave satisfied. Madsen's Bowling and Billiards at 47th and Dudley.
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree and I didn't have one. I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doane. For me, the Doane experience has been life-changing.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Happy Hour.
Gina Mancuso-Prososki of the Omaha Supernovas. You've played professionally for a few years. How emotional was that first match?
When I graduated the University of Nebraska, I thought that was it. I'll never play in front of my hometown. And going overseas where no one knows you, so you feel that isolation too. Play in front of my family and friends, it's a dream come true. That first time I got on the court at the beginning of our season and the crowd erupted, I mean, it took everything in me not to expose my emotion.
Weekdays from 1 to 2. Early break with Sip and Jake.
Tominaga was hot for the Huskers. He had 30 points in the ball game. They are a lock for the tournament. They are in. They are a lock.
Write it down.
Nothing could take away Nebraska.
Where do you have
basketball.
them at?
Well, I'm curious if Bilotology and Jake are on the same page. I'd say 8 to 9 seed right now. I don't think it's a 10.
I say an 8.
Okay.
I say
We're
an
on the
8
same
seed
page
right
there.
now.
8 to 9
That's
seed.
right. I see him as an 8.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
One segment to go here on the show. Thanks for tuning in. It's been a good one. We've got another show to end out the week. And if you haven't heard, this time next week, know where we'll be, Stricky?
Where will we be?
We'll be at Buffalo Wings and Rings watching March Madness.
Oh,
how about that?
That's going to be cool because I actually may go to a game or two. I think I'm going to go. Yeah, man. I think
in the Big O?
I think I'm going to go in the Big O. And I'm hoping the Huskers can land a Midwest. If do you understand how huge? We have never been in the same area of our seating. You know, when we've been seated, we've always had to go like east or
San Antonio,
or somewhere like we've never really got an opportunity to stay. And that would be kind of cool if they can land it, if they can stay. I think if they make a good run in the tournament, get to the semis minimum.
So that's win their first game, get
to the semis. If they get to the finals, I actually think they may be able to stay because usually they'll keep 2 teams.
Pretty close. Yeah.
Like two, no more than 3 in the region, but I'm pretty sure 2. But if they go deep and maybe even to the finals, pause. They could get a Midwest. And if they do, that'd be so dope. That'd be so sweet.
I'm leaving Buffalo Wings and Rings to get there the second that they play.
Man,
it's happening.
Yeah.
It's kind of unfortunate we haven't had a chance to talk about the fact that Nebraska men's basketball officially has a double bye in the Big Ten tournament. That we weren't watching them last night. Can't even watch them tonight.
Right.
They don't play till tomorrow. We'll break down the game. We don't know Nebraska's opponent just yet. So we'll make sure we find some time to go over that tomorrow, what it means that Nebraska got the double bye. But Stricky, you put out a Twitter poll. It's still up. It's still open. It's still active. Remind people where to find that, what it was, and do we have some replies to that?
Yeah, we have a few. Overwhelmingly right now, we have about 288 votes. We still have another day or so left, so we'll be able to kind of tap in tomorrow. We thank you those who have voted thus far. Bo Pelini's sitting at 87.7% right now of the vote. Trev Alberts is sitting at creeping up, just had a couple more votes, creeping up to 12.9% of the vote. Scott Frost at 3.1%, sitting in third. And Steve Peterson is sitting at 0.7% of the vote. No one wants him to come back at all.
No.
There it is. We're going to continue to have this set up. We got some comments that I think popped in. Let me see if I can grab those. See if we can get some of the comments that are coming through. Where you at? How do I get them? Shoot. How do I get the comments?
I have some of them pulled up here.
You got some of them?
Okay. It says here, in order, Bo Pelini, Scott Frost, Steve Peterson, Trev Alberts.
Bo is the only right answer I have from Dustin Oberremd.
Okay. I'm seeing Trev because the Board of Regents is what sent him away. It still would be difficult to welcome him back with open arms.
Adam Hahn says Bo cared the most, so he is the only one with no ties to the state before being hired by Solich. Another one says, someone says Peterson easy.
Peterson easy? Dang. Okay.
Jack Gropp says none of the above.
There's the Husker hater. Welcome to the conversation.
Oh,
I'm seeing one that says Bo easily, but Scott can come back too. It just didn't work out for him as head coach. No hard feelings, live and learn. I would love to know if Nebraska fans' attitude is really, shifted on Scott Frost. Because again, I think when the reports of, not working hard, dereliction of duty, all the rumors being thrown out there, it was really, you didn't take Nebraska seriously. You had the job you should have wanted, and you didn't treat it like that.
Yeah.
I feel like we're getting some of that same blowback from Trev Alberts. But if that impression around Scott Frost is starting to soften, and people are willing to say, maybe we overreacted, or hey, maybe we should have given a second-time head coach maybe a little more benefit of the doubt. Why wouldn't Trev Alberts be welcome back?
Yeah, I think only time will tell. I think time will tell, and as the more that the conversation is information comes out, or discussions, or if media begins to ask the question and he begins to answer, then I think that could make a difference.
On the text line, OGCJ says, Strick, I'll drive to Omaha. Let's go. You got a partner. You got a buddy.
I already live in Omaha. So I'm already
and you don't
there.
give your address out, so you got to meet each other somewhere. We know that already.
Yeah. Good stuff. Thank
How
you, guys.
many tourney games have you attended to watch?
2. I actually
Do you
went to
remember
Nebraska. I actually went to the Nebraska game when they played against Baylor.
Oh, in St. Ann?
Yeah.
Mm.
I was living in Dallas at the time, so I actually went to that game.
Mm.
Yeah.
Nice.
And where's the other one?
Not many to pick from, unfortunately.
I went no, it wasn't Nebraska. I just actually went, and I want to say it was in Atlanta.
Ooh.
It was in Atlanta.
Okay.
I can't remember who was all there. I'm not big on the college guys. Like all the names that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's not as big of an event to just go.
Yeah. I mean, it was when I was playing in the league. And so obviously we're, you're looking from a standpoint of who may be coming up that you got to fight against. So
sure.
I wasn't necessarily watching as a fan. I was watching as like who I got to bust
how do I destroy you?
Yeah. Who am I going to have to, get after? Because I think that's something that people don't realize. Like, yes, you're part of a fraternity, but to stay, that's not easy because there's always 2 rounds plus of guys coming for your job. There's always. So you got to really differentiate yourself and, give teams and organizations a reason to, keep you around.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy because there's always somebody coming.
You did that stuff for 9 years.
Man, especially at your position.
Right. The NCAA tournament game that I went to, just been to one, was also in Omaha, was at the CHI Health Center, obviously. I was working for Husker Radio Network at the time, Husker Sports Network as it was called then.
Mm-hmm.
And it was going to work out perfectly. I would work the 2 softball games in the morning, go home, grab a bite to eat, head up to Omaha, get to CHI in plenty of time. Here comes the weather. Here comes the rain, Stricky. Here's a day just like this.
Here comes the rain again, falling on my head like a memory, falling on my head like a new emotion. Oh, I can't sing, man.
You just did great. That's our clip. Made my job easy. Thanks, Stricky.
That's a classic now. If you don't know that,
Mhm.
I'm an 80s classic guy. I love 80s. I'll throw on my XM radio and
80s on
every
8?
now and then I'll do 80s on 8. Maybe
Mhm.
I love it. I love to do the 80s periodically.
I feel.
Yeah.
I'm rolling.
No doubt.
Anyways, the rain falling on our head like a memory or a new emotion ended
Can
up.
you stand the rain?
I couldn't that day because Stricky pushed the games back like 2 hours. And then the games went long. There's no time limit in a baseball or a softball game unless it's, getaway day. But it wasn't. It was first day of a tournament, I think. So the second day of a tournament. So I'm late to the game. I get there at like the U12 of the first half. My first NCAA tournament game ever, Duke, Kansas in Omaha. Yeah, we were going to go with obviously my brothers are also Duke fans as well. And we were going to go with some buddies who are Kansas fans. To a game for the first time. They ended up not feeling the best, had to cancel. So Brother Jackson and Mom and I ended up going to the game. And Duke lost. They would have gone to the Final Four as an Elite Eight game. Not a first-round game. It was an Elite Eight. Kansas beat Clemson. Duke had beat Rico's Syracuse Orangemen in the previous round. And hated playing Syracuse. Still hate Syracuse. Just... why do you play 2-3 zone in college?
That zone.
It shouldn't be hard to beat, but they're just annoying enough, and there's just enough of just peskiness to make a run like they seem to do every 4 or 5 years under Boeheim. I didn't buy tickets to the Sweet 16 game, just the Elite 8 game.
Yeah.
I was going to tear that ticket stub up if Duke lost. I was not going to the game if they weren't playing in it, but they won. It goes to overtime. Allen had that shot roll around the rim and just fall off, and then the worst, and I mean worst block charge call I've ever seen. Like, remember yours at Missouri?
Yes, I do remember.
Think about that, but Duke, Kansas in Omaha goes against
In a
Duke.
big
Wendell
game.
Carter fouls out. Duke was rolling. Then freaking Malik Newman. Never heard of the guy. Never heard of him. Goes off in overtime. Scores, I think, like 7, 9, 10 points in overtime. Kansas wins, goes to the Final Four, and gets absolutely mollywopped. So it wasn't even worth it. Kansas didn't even take advantage of it. So not only were you just jerks, you didn't even use it for anything. What the heck?
But here's the thing that I find very interesting, and you guys can help me. 402-464-5685. I find it interesting when husbands and wives, they marry rivals. Like a husband will marry a Oklahoma Sooner.
Well, Rico's a Syracuse fan and Rachel's a Duke fan.
Well, see, that's. I mean, that's not like. I'm
Rival,
talking
right,
about
yeah.
like that would be. I'm talking about somebody who like you went to Michigan State and he went to Michigan. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
One went to Kentucky,
Texas,
one went to Louisville.
and one went to Texas A&M.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like how does
LSU,
that
Alabama,
work?
Auburn, Alabama.
How does that work? Now, that's just an intriguing thing. I see it all the time where they have like the flags.
Yeah.
You drive by the house and they have the flags.
And
up.
there's one of each?
One of each. And I'm like, how does that work on game day? It's intriguing to me. Help me if you had that experience or you have that going on in your household right now. Shout me out and tell me how that story works for you. I'm really intrigued because again, we only know the surface of the issue.
Right.
I can only imagine, but I really would love to hear a couple stories of how that works.
Different couches, different beds,
Like,
different
is there
rooms,
arguments?
something?
Is it an argument? Is it a knockdown drag out? Is it she didn't cook for you that night because they won? like you had to go eat ramen noodles because
Because your team beat hers?
I
Yeah.
want to know. That's funny to me. All right.
402-464-5685 or on Twitter at estrick20 at Austin_Orman. We're going to get out of here. We got Old School coming up next. No DP. It'll be myself and Jay Foreman taking you through Old School. Phil, I am not acknowledging that. That is rude. Never again. I'm kidding. Thanks for texting in. D-Man, David the Dad, y'all were great on the text line today. Sorry we couldn't get to everything, but just know we did see you. We appreciate your input as well as on YouTube. Had a few people going back and forth there. Really appreciate the engagement. And we got one more day of shows. We'll do it again tomorrow. We'll take a look at Nebraska Athletic Director history. And hey, your Huskers double bye in the Big Ten men's basketball tournament.
Wow.
Their opponent awaits. We'll figure that out tonight. We will talk about it all and more tomorrow. He's Husker Hall of Famer, 9-year NBA veteran Erick Strickland. I'm Austin Norman. This is On the Block on 93.7 The Ticket. Don't go anywhere. We got old school Jay Foreman coming up next.
Problem gambling can destroy an individual's finances, relationships, physical, and mental health. If you or a loved one